All right, this is Danila Sands with MendoLake Complex Fire Relief, a disaster resource center in Mendocino County. We are doing a series of emergency preparedness webinars. Today, we are speaking with Mike Carter. He is one of the Mendocino County ham radio operators. And he's going to give a presentation on ham radios and emergency times. Mike Carter, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Go ahead and start. Welcome.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Mike Carter, and let's talk a little bit about ham or amateur radio. Amateur radio is a popular hobby service that brings people, electronics, and communication together. People use ham radio to talk across the county, around the world, and even into space, all without internet or cell phones. It's fun, social, educational, and can be a lifeline during times of need. Amateur radios come from all walks of life. You have doctors, students, kids, politicians, truck drivers, movie stars, missionaries, and even your average neighbor next door. They are of all ages, sexes, income levels, and nationalities. Universal appeal. Wrong way. There are hams who have only a very basic knowledge of radio and electronics, all the way to people who are communications technicians and actually build their own radios. There are even hams on the International Space Station who use ham radio to talk to school children. Every time that they send up new astronauts, one of them is always a ham radio operator. What's the appeal of ham radio? You can communicate from the top of a mountain, your home, or behind the wheel of your car without relying on the internet or a cell phone network. In times of disaster, when regular communication channels fail, and that's your cell phone, landline phone, and internet, hams can swing into action and assist emergency communications efforts and working with public service agencies. The amateur radio service in Mendocino County provided communications capabilities for hospitals and medical facilities, and also for shelters when the Redwood Complex fire disrupted normal telephone and internet service for almost 3 days. Ham radio can be a lifeline in emergencies. The Federal Communications, the FCC, created this service to fill a need for a pool of experts who could provide backup during emergencies. In addition, the FCC acknowledged the ability of hams to advance the communications and technical skills of radio and to enhance international goodwill. As I said before, you have hams who can actually build radios. We have a lot of hams who do experimental communications using radios and actually advance the state of radio communications throughout the world. There are 3 levels of license that give you increased capabilities at each level. The basic license is for short-range voice and digital radio. The general license is for short and long-range voice, digital and Morse code, and the advanced amateur are all modes and frequencies on the ham radio spectrum. Why do you need a license? The basic license is all you need to have to use short-range radio bands and talk to local hams. Licenses are issued for 10 years and may be upgraded at any time. The use of a ham radio without a license can cause you to have fines of up to $25,000. How much does a license cost? The basic study materials for passing the FCC and getting your initial license usually costs less than $40. The cost to actually take the test is currently $15. In Mendocino County, we offer free classes every spring, and they're done by a group of the local ham radio operators. Or you can also self-study using materials online or there are books that you can purchase that will help you to study how to get your basic, general, or advanced licenses. Once you have your first license, most hams start with simple equipment, and this grows over time. The usual cost for a handheld radio is less than $200, and that gets you start talking to other hams. You can also find used ham radio equipment at flea markets and on the internet. And we actually have what we call a swap net every Thursday night on the ham radio bands here in Mendocino County, where people can search for or trade equipment that they already own. The ham radio has many bands that allow you to talk to other hams locally and internationally, depending on the radio type and your license level. If you have a basic license, you just have local radio communications. If you have a general or the advanced licenses, you can talk worldwide. Many of the ham radios allow you to listen, but not transmit on local police and fire frequencies. During the fires that we have going right now, I've been listening in on the CAL FIRE frequencies so that I know where they're dispatching fire trucks and where the fire is located, and I can relate that to my friends, family, and neighbors. In Mendocino County, we have a linked repeater system that allows you to communicate anywhere in the county and also portions of Lake County. It's a system of 5 repeaters that all talk to each other, and they're owned and maintained by the local ham radio operators. They're available for any ham to use. We have had people up here on vacation driving through Mendocino or Lake County, and they can get on those frequencies and talk to the local hams up here. Using the linked repeater system increases the distance a person can talk using a handheld or mobile unit. Most of the handheld units are fairly low power so that they don't have a lot of range, but by using them to connect with the repeater, you can talk anywhere in the county. There are also non-linked repeaters that are more area specific. You can use those at any time also. During an emergency, a fire, flood, or earthquake, ham radio operators can listen to the emergency services and determine the location, nature, and the scope of the disaster. Ham radio operators can share this information with other hams, with their local community to keep people informed about the incident. I have neighbors giving me calls all the time to find out where the smoke is coming from and where the fire is. Hams can also be asked to volunteer to assist when the normal forms of communications are disrupted. When that happens, the countywide repeater system is used by the Office of Emergency Services, and hams have to use other ways to transmit their traffic. That's one of the reasons why we have the standalone repeater system. When the countywide repeaters are being used, use the standalone systems, or you can even do messages station to station. I can pass a message from where I live in Laytonville to someone who's in Willits. That person in Willits can pass it to someone who's in Fort Bragg. The person in Fort Bragg can pass it to somebody who lives in Point Arena, and we pass messages that way. There are many modes which include voice, digital messaging, Morse code, and there's even a method where you can send email directly via a radio when the internet is down. Radio equipment. Your basic mobile radio for use in your home vehicle. That's what is shown on the top right of the screen. You will also need a speaker and an antenna, and if you want to use it in your house, you need a 12-volt power supply. Almost all ham radio equipment runs on 12 volt because it's designed to be used in vehicles. You can also get the portable handheld battery-powered radio, which is shown on the lower right of the screen. How much do they cost? A basic battery-powered handheld 2-meter radio can be between $150 and $200. That's a good initial radio, which will allow basic communications, but the range is limited due to its power. Those radios normally run a maximum of 5 watts so that they have a very light power supply and it doesn't drain the battery. For mobile communications, a basic radio antenna and speaker will cost approximately $200. Those operate directly off the vehicle electronic system because they're 12-volt radios. Better equipment will cost more, so the amount you spend is up to you. This is not a really cheap hobby. It can cost a lot of money if you have the money that you want to spend on it. What's the best way to learn about amateur radio? The best way is to talk to another ham face to face. Hams take pride in their ability to teach newcomers the ropes and get started in the hobby. Now, you'll see the word Elmer. A long time ago, there was a ham by the name of Elmer who helped people. And over time, people would start asking, who's your Elmer? Who is assisting you? It's basically a radio mentor. One of the other places you can look is the Amateur Radio Relay League website. That's at http://www.arrl.org/home. The Amateur Radio Relay League is the national organization for all ham radio operators. If you have any questions at all, you can normally go on that website. And if you can't find the answer on there, you can find how to contact somebody who knows the answer. One of the other places you can go is the Willits Amateur Radio Society. The WARS website at http://w6mm.club/index.html. Although it's called the Willits Amateur Radio Society, we have members from all across Mendocino County and even Lake County that are part of the club. Or if you desire more information, you can contact me at mgmcarter@outlook.com. So, amateur radio is an interesting hobby that allows you to communicate with other hams in the county and with the appropriate license worldwide. It also provides a means to remain informed in emergencies and also to provide emergency assistance when necessary. Are there any questions?
Coming on. And if you're able to show your, are you have any questions? Are you finished with it? Or are you gonna, is there more to show?
That's all I have to show.
Okay. Do you want to show your video? Okay, and in the meantime, while Mike is getting his video on, if anybody has any questions for Mike, ham radio operator in Mendocino County, you can ask your questions in the comment section on Facebook, or you can ask them in the Q&A section here in Zoom.
Okay, what just happened?
He's going to go ahead and get that. And Haley,
he's going to try. I lost the...
Okay. If you stop sharing your screen, which I may be able to do on my end, then we can see your video.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. I knew it was a button up there somewhere. It's hidden behind the camera.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Mike. That was very informative, and in a short presentation, I'm sure there's a whole lot more that someone can learn from someone like you or those other websites We'll be sure to add those to the top of the Facebook. And then for anyone joining us now, you can ask your questions in the Facebook comment section, and we'll ask Mike directly, or you can put it in the Q&A section on Zoom. This will be saved and later viewed on Facebook, and we'll have it on our YouTube channel as well. So he just gave a short presentation on ham radio. So some of the questions coming in is, what is the bare minimum I would need to save in order to buy a ham radio? I think you had a slide about that already, but.
Yes, a basic, well, actually, let me show you. A basic ham radio, portable radio. This one costs $170. And it comes with the radio. It comes with 2 batteries. It comes with a battery charger. Everything that you need to function as a ham is right here. But as I said in the presentation, this is a short range radio. You have to use this pretty much through one of the repeater systems, or you aren't going to talk to many people. This is well, if you're standing on a mountaintop, it's got a much larger range because the AM radio is blocked by obstructions. So if you're down in a valley, you won't be able to talk as far as if you're up on the top of a hill. But for about $170, you can get that radio, and it's a top quality Yaesu, and it will provide you the communications that you need to talk pretty much anywhere in the county.
Okay, excellent. So sometimes I'm going to turn my video off just because the internet connection, it seems to help a little bit. And so just in case you see me go off there. So another question that came in is, for someone just starting, should they have the handheld one, the vehicle one, or the house one? Is there a preference?
I started with the handheld. The best thing to do is go out and get the smaller handheld radio. It's the least expensive, and you'll be able to use it in your, well, you can use it in your house to a degree. Normally, if you really want to talk, you have to have an external antenna on the house, because the metal and stuff in the walls of a house, especially if you have a house that's like stucco, will block the radio waves from coming in. But you can get this small handheld radio and a small portable antenna that you put by a window, because the radio waves will go through glass easily. And you'll be able to communicate as long as you can hit one of the repeaters. One of the problems with getting a radio just for your vehicle, then you can't use it in the house. Now, I started with the handheld radio. Then I got a vehicle radio and a power supply for the house, and I move it back and forth. After time, I got tired of doing that, so then I got a radio for the house and for my vehicle. But you can start out with just the handheld radio and get started and get used to talking on the radio. Excuse me. And then after you talk on the radio, you'll meet other hams. You'll be able to talk to them. You'll get some idea of what you need and what you can purchase. And you never can tell. My first handheld radio I got for free from another ham.
That's great.
So
That's
there are some people who will assist you and provide equipment and training and make sure that you can get on the air and talk to other people.
That's great. That's good information. So that kind of leads on to our other question. Somebody said, when you buy a handheld radio online, it's not programmed, the channels. Who would I contact to help me with that?
You can actually put out a little request for assistance on the radio, or you can attend like the Willits Amateur Radio Society club meetings, or get on the website and contact someone there, you will get all kinds of people who are more than willing to help you program the radio, show you how to do it, or even program the whole radio for you.
Oh, that's good information. Thank you. You talked about the Willits Club meeting. Are there other groups in Mendocino County, and how often do they meet? I know there's difference with COVID right now, but.
Yes, we haven't had a meeting because of the COVID, but normally we meet at least once every 3 months. Plus, we have a Christmas party every year. We have barbecues in the summer where we'll all get together and talk. There is also a group called ABARCS, the Anchor Bay Amateur Radio Communication Service, that is down in the Point Arena, Wallala area. And if you happen to be in Lake County, there's LCARS, the Lake County Amateur Radio Communication Service. So there's at least 3 groups in the county that are or 2 groups in Mendocino County, 1 group in Lake County that are dedicated to ham radio. But like I said, we have people from Lake County, we have people from every place in Mendocino County that are part of the Willits Amateur Radio Society.
Wow, that's great. The next question is there a dues to join the club?
Yes, it's $15 a year.
That's pretty cheap. Inexpensive. Okay, we're looking through the questions now. And if anybody has joined us, we have a few more minutes that we are on for another 4 minutes. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Zoom Q&A or on the Facebook comments, as we are live on Facebook. And we'll be having this on the YouTube channel later saved in case you didn't have a chance to watch it live. Okay.
One of the other things about the meetings is, yeah, you pay $15 a year, but at all the meetings, we provide the pizza.
Who can pass on pizza? That's good.
I know.
I like that. That's great. Okay. Another question is, can you purchase a scanner, not go through the class, and not speak on it, just to have it to listen for fires?
Absolutely. You can purchase it. If you don't want to have the capabilities of talking on it, you can purchase a scanner. There's no license required, and you can program the scanner to listen to pretty much all the same frequencies that you can the ham radio.
That's great.
It's just that if you need to call for help, you can't do it over a scanner.
Right. Right. Good point. Good point. Okay. One of our last questions here. We have a couple minutes left. They asked about, is there a class? Is there an online option to get certified? I know you talked about that small fee and to get certified. I don't know if you guys are doing something local right now because of COVID, obviously, or if there's an online option to get certified to speak on them and to learn them.
At this point in time, there is no online option for the qualification. It has to be an face-to-face class. Now, tomorrow they are giving a class in they're giving a test in Kelseyville, but it's going to be outside and social distancing and masks. But there have to be 3 ARRL certified examiners there present in order to take the test and have the license issued.
So you could do the training and the classes perhaps online or with the person, but the test itself has to be in person. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes. And there are many places that you can go online that have practice tests, that have classes that will actually teach you all the information that you need. There are books you can purchase that will have all of the tests and information that you need, and you can do a self-study course. Then you just have to find where there's a class, and you can go on the ARO website and look on there, and it lists the classes for the entire United States.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Okay, we have one last question, then we're going to wrap it up here. For anyone that's just joined us, this will be available later on Facebook or YouTube. They asked about, is there an age limit or requirement?
There's no age limit for ham radio. We have a number of high school kids. One of our instructors happens to be also a high school teacher, and he has at least 8 that I know of kids from his class who have taken and passed the test and are ham radio operators in the county.
Wow, I like that. I like that a lot. That's great. Okay, well, we're at our time limit. I want to respect your time, Mike. I know this is your second time coming on. I really appreciate your wealth of knowledge. And if anyone has any questions, we're going to add those links that you talked about in your email on the top of the Facebook. So hopefully someone can reach out to you. And our next up at 3 o'clock is Red Cross, Dawn Rowe. Is there anything else that you'd like to end with, Mike?
No, other than the fact it's a really enjoyable hobby and it's great to have. I've actually used my ham radio twice. Once to notify CAL FIRE of a fire, and once to notify the California Highway Patrol of a traffic accident because no one was there. So it's fantastic, and it works anywhere in the county. There are no ham radio dead areas like there are cell phone dead areas. But it's a good thing to have, especially in emergencies.
Did you see the chat? Oh, someone just said that's good to know. That's great. Okay. Yeah, that is important to know. There are some rural areas that have some very dead-end cell phone areas. So that's important. Well, thank you, Mike. I really appreciate you coming on today. We're going to go ahead and end our webinar.
You're welcome.
But thank you again. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you, Danielle.